Hello and welcome to 2.2 Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2010 movie titled Game of Death. The film opens with undercover CIA agent Marcus Jones, who sits alone in his car, keenly observing a priest engaged in conversation with a group of young men playing basketball. After a moment of contemplation, Marcus steps out, retrieves a large bag from his vehicle, and discreetly follows the priest to a nearby cathedral. Once inside, he approaches the priest, recognizing the positive impact the clergyman has on the community, and offers to contribute in some way. The priest extends an invitation for confession, sensing Marcus's inner turmoil, but Marcus dismisses the notion, believing he has strayed too far from redemption. However, the priest's insistence prompts Marcus to relent and take a seat beside him. As they converse, Marcus gradually reveals his true identity as a CIA undercover agent and a killer who has lost faith in any higher power. His story unfolds through a flashback that transports us a few months into the past. In this recollection, Marcus meets with his CIA handler and mentor, Dietrich, who praises him for his successful mission in New York. Dietrich then briefs Marcus on his new assignment, to gather intelligence on the Red Veil hedge fund, which is heavily invested in oil ventures across Africa. Following recent policy changes that threaten their profits, Red Veil has begun collaborating with an arms dealer named Frank Smith to supply weapons to rebels in the region. Once sufficient intelligence is collected, Marcus's objective is to eliminate both Frank and John Red Veil, the hedge fund's leader, while ensuring that the CIA's involvement remains concealed. Marcus accepts the mission and departs with a suitcase at his feet. Fast forward 6 months, and we find Marcus deeply embedded within Frank Smith's inner circle as his bodyguard. He boards a private plane with Smith, who is en route to meet John Red Veil to facilitate a $100 million cash transaction. As they land and transfer to their private transport, 2 cars of CIA agents trail them closely, with Dietrich monitoring the situation from a helicopter, poised to strike once Smith collects the cash. However, chaos ensues when rogue CIA agents ambush Dietrich, killing him and seizing control of the operation. Meanwhile, Smith begins to panic, sweating profusely and requesting air conditioning that is already operational. It soon becomes apparent that he is suffering from a heart attack. In a moment of quick thinking, Marcus instructs the driver to divert to the hospital, much to the dismay of the panicking CIA agents who realize their plans are unraveling. As they race towards the hospital, the agents close in and launch an attack, fatally shooting the driver. With no choice but to take control of the vehicle himself, Marcus fires back at their pursuers before managing to shake them off temporarily. Upon arrival at the hospital, Smith is rushed into treatment while Marcus is left in the lobby. There he encounters Dr. Brown, who assures him that she will care for Smith. Outside, FBI agents begin to converge on the hospital as Xander and a female operative land on the roof. Meanwhile, hospital security guards notice Marcus's bullet-riddled car and call for police assistance. However, Xander swiftly intervenes, ordering the officers to stand down. Inside, security confronts Marcus and demands he surrender his weapon. He learns that Smith has been stabilized in the ICU, but unbeknownst to him, an eavesdropper relays Smith's location to those who may not have his best interests at heart. Marcus is visibly unwell due to his diabetes, prompting Dr. Brown to offer assistance by having a nurse check on him. Shortly thereafter, a nurse arrives and escorts Marcus into an examination room. As he disappears from view, an agent monitoring him enters the lobby. Security guards quickly notice the agent and pursue him to a nearby room, but he retaliates with lethal force, killing both guards without hesitation. While Smith receives urgent medical treatment, Marcus is attended to by the nurse, who flirts with him, intrigued by the idea of dating a bodyguard for the first time. Just as she finishes her examination, chaos erupts when the CIA assassin opens fire, fatally wounding her. In the ensuing turmoil, Marcus manages to escape. The assassin begins a frantic search for him, but Marcus turns the tables, ambushing and swiftly eliminating his attacker. Determined to reach Smith, Marcus heads for the elevator but finds it too slow. Opting for the stairs instead, he keeps his gun at the ready and remains vigilant. His caution pays off when he encounters another CIA agent. A fierce gunfight ensues on the staircase. Though bullets fly, Marcus manages to evade capture and escapes onto the psych ward, desperately seeking an exit. In a room filled with disturbed patients, a young girl guides him toward a vent that leads outside. Just as Marcus prepares to climb up, another CIA agent descends and assaults him. However, Marcus's speed and strength give him the upper hand as he decisively overpowers the agent with a brutal kick to the neck. Meanwhile, Xander grows impatient when he receives no communication from the agent sent after Marcus. He dispatches his female operative to investigate. As she descends the staircase, Xander and several other agents storm into Smith's treatment room, demanding his immediate surrender. Dr. Brown stands firm against their threats until Xander brandishes his weapon, coercing her into compliance. As Marcus stealthily navigates through Smith's treatment floor with his gun drawn, Xander pressures Dr. Brown to administer adrenaline to Smith despite her protests that it could be fatal. She argues for Smith's safety, but Xander escalates the situation by threatening her life. While Marcus continues his cautious advance, he unexpectedly encounters the female CIA agent, Floria. They exchange gunfire from behind cover as she reveals that plans have shifted following Dietrich's death. Floria attempts to negotiate with Marcus, but he remains distrustful of her intentions. Inside Smith's operating room, Dr. Brown persuades Xander to allow her to complete her procedure under the threat of violence towards her assistant. Marcus demands clarity on the situation as he was leading the mission, but Floria informs him that Xander intends to take the cash and leave without him. She offers him a choice: join them or face certain death. Refusing her proposition, Marcus uses a nearby cabinet for cover and makes a break for it. Floria chases after him, insisting that $100 million could transform his life and taunting him with claims that he won't survive this ordeal. In a fortunate twist of fate, a maintenance worker opens a door beside Marcus just in time for him to escape into the hospital's corridors. A tense running gun battle ensues as Floria continues her relentless pursuit, trying to entice him into joining their corrupt scheme while they exchange fire through the hospital's hallways. In a moment of quick thinking, he shoots a nearby fire extinguisher, creating a cloud of confusion that allows him to escape and eliminate another agent before reaching an elevator. However, his respite is short-lived as a large man tackles him, nearly overpowering Marcus. In a fierce struggle, he musters all his strength to lock in and ultimately subdues the man with a brutal blow that breaks his neck. Before he can regain his footing, Floria appears, gun drawn and a smile on her face. She forces him at gunpoint towards Smith's operating room, where Xander awaits with a casual demeanor. He taunts Smith, revealing that Marcus is actually a CIA agent assigned to bring him down, and mockingly discloses that he took Dietrich's life, knowing how much he meant to Marcus as a mentor. Enraged, Marcus vows to kill Xander, but Floria knocks him unconscious before he can act. Xander, growing impatient, compels Dr. Brown to put Smith in a wheelchair and insists she accompany them to ensure Smith's survival. As they exit with Smith, Xander callously executes the last nurse in their path before turning his attention to Marcus. However, memories of their shared missions and the countless times Marcus saved his life weigh heavily on him, causing him to hesitate. In the present, Marcus confesses to the priest that he doesn't seek forgiveness. Instead, he believes the world would be better off without people like him. He doesn't want to take up any more of the priest's time but is desperate to know what became of Xander and the team. Meanwhile, Xander catches up with Floria, Smith and Dr. Brown, leading them into an elevator. They manage to exit the hospital and load into a waiting van. Xander then makes a call reporting the shooting at the hospital, painting Marcus as a murderer who is armed and dangerous. As they drive away, Smith laughs at Xander, warning him that he is also a dead man now that he has crossed Red Veil. While Xander is fixated on acquiring Red Veil's cash, Smith knows that Red Veil is all about power and control and will crush anyone who threatens him. Unfazed by the warning, Xander remains resolute. Meanwhile, Marcus regains consciousness on the hospital floor next to the dead nurse and stumbles out of the room. He takes the staircase with his gun ready until he reaches the outside, where he spots an ambulance parked nearby and seizes it. Back at the Red Veil Wall Street headquarters, Smith and Xander arrive with the other agents and request an audience with Mr. Red Veil. Inside, Red Veil's assistant notices Smith's deteriorating condition, but Xander claims to represent him in finalizing a deal. Soon after, Red Veil himself appears but is immediately suspicious of Xander and his crew as they speak on Smith's behalf. When Red Veil expresses that it isn't a good time for negotiations, Xander insists on completing the deal that day. Red Veil flatly refuses and confronts Xander directly about his lack of trust. The tension escalates as both parties draw their weapons. Xander demands Smith's share of the cash, but when Red Veil seeks Smith's consent and receives no response, he again declines to proceed. Red Veil warns Xander to reconsider his actions, asserting his immense power and threatening to find their families if they cross him. Yet Xander remains undeterred. He reveals that his team possesses evidence of all Red Veil's illegal dealings, ultimately disclosing that he is CIA. Red Veil concedes, but Xander, wanting to eliminate any potential witnesses, coldly executes his security guard. In a swift move, Red Veil instructs his assistant to notify the guards in the vault of their impending arrival. However, Xander silences her with a bullet before she can relay the message. As they descend in the elevator, Redvale attempts to entice them with an offer to join his ranks, but the agents firmly reject his proposition. Upon reaching the vault, Xander efficiently dispatches all 3 security guards stationed there. Inside the vault, Redvale presents a staggering sum of $100 million, questioning whether Smith will permit the agents to take all of it. Smith ominously assures him that Xander will never escape with the cash, but Xander remains unfazed, mockingly wagering $10,000 of Smith's own money on their success. At that critical moment, Marcus arrives at the Redvale building, quickly learning that Smith is already at the vault. He rushes in to find the lifeless bodies of the security guards. Xander instructs one of his agents to start moving the cash, but Marcus intervenes, knocking the agent out and concealing the bag of money. The commotion alerts Xander and Floria, who draw their weapons. Xander calls out to Marcus, who demands his surrender. Xander offers a tempting deal, take the bag of cash and walk away, but Marcus stands firm in his refusal. As tension mounts, Smith feigns another heart attack, prompting Marcus to warn him that he is running out of options. Yet Xander remains resolute, seizing Dr. Brown and threatening her life if Marcus doesn't comply. He pushes her into the hallway, giving Marcus a countdown to drop his weapon. Reluctantly, Marcus tosses his gun at Brown's feet. Xander orders her to kick it to him, but when she hesitates, he prepares to execute her. In a tense moment, Marcus intervenes just in time to save her. They make their way to the lobby, where security guards are summoned for assistance. Meanwhile, Xander begins searching for them upstairs, leaving Floria as the sole guard. Seizing an opportunity, Smith launches an attack on Floria but is shot in the process. In a desperate struggle, Redvale confronts Floria and attempts to lock her inside the vault, however she deftly kills him with a throwing knife. Xander returns just in time to free Floria from her confinement. They grab 2 bags of cash and head toward the lobby. In a calculated move, Xander shoots a guard to gain access to the elevators. Just before they can enter, Marcus manages to eliminate Floria. A brief but intense shootout ensues between Marcus and Xander before Xander narrowly escapes into the elevator. He then ascends to the rooftop, where a helicopter approaches for his extraction. Below, police officers encircle the building, intent on apprehending Marcus. As Marcus reaches the roof, Xander drops his bag and stands ready with his gun, anticipating his arrival. When their eyes meet, another intense shootout erupts on the rooftop. Marcus takes cover and returns fire, but soon finds himself out of ammunition. As Xander cautiously searches for him, he taunts Marcus with the reminder that half of the cash still belongs to him if he chooses to accept it. As Xander closes in, Marcus seizes the moment to disarm him. The 2 men face off, their history of trust now overshadowed by betrayal. Marcus has always believed in Xander, but Xander accuses him of being blinded by duty, no longer committed to their mission. With Marcus refusing to accept his offer, Xander vows to eliminate him this time. He strikes first, forcing Marcus into a defensive position, but soon Marcus retaliates with powerful blows. The fight escalates as they exchange strikes until Marcus gains the upper hand, locking Xander's arms and brutally breaking both before delivering a fatal blow to his neck. Meanwhile, the police force breaches the building, discovering the aftermath of violence but finding no trace of Marcus. They locate Xander's lifeless body on the roof and report it in. In the lobby, the captain seethes with anger as he shows Dr. Brown a photo of Marcus. She counters that he actually saved her life. The scene shifts to Marcus, who vanishes into a crowd while clutching the bag of cash. The film comes full circle as we see Marcus seated with a priest, who listens intently to his story. The priest begins to pray, and Marcus joins him in reciting the Lord's Prayer. Afterward, the priest offers Marcus forgiveness, prompting him to leave the chapel while leaving the bag of cash behind. Outside, he pauses to watch a group of boys playing basketball, reflecting on the beauty and simplicity of life. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more amazing movie recaps from 2.2 Recaps.